Hello. I am dual cameraing it, so this is a new setup for me, but y'all want different platforms, and so this seems like the best way to do multiple platforms at one time. So I have this little rig. It'll be interesting if I can see. Hello, Matt from Fresh Menu Kitchen. Hello, Heather. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Michelle. All on Instagram. Instagram's gonna be my busy one today, I think. This is the first time I am doing an Instagram live on this channel in years. Okay, I got somebody. I'm on the Clock app too. So I'm over here. So we have Kai. If you would introduce yourselves, I know I said hi to you, but other members might love to see you. Introduce yourself. Where are you from? What are you up to today? I am using up some ingredients that we're going to go to waste, as well as trying out these reusable freezer bags that I have not tried out. So this is kind of a first time thing. So I have a little bit of prep to do, just a little bit. You notice this, Matt? How is everybody doing? But I wanted to say hi to everybody. And then we'll get started with what we're doing. I am making 2 recipes today, putting them in the freezer because here's what happened. Ever have this happen? This is cooked chicken, but this chicken was raw and it was gonna go to waste in my refrigerator. Ever have this? Go to your refrigerator right now. Do you have ingredients in there that need to be used, or you lose them? That is one of the other ways to use once a month meals. You can do multiple meals and make your meal plan and have those foods preserved, but we all have meals that we're planning on making and cooking in the moment, and then something happens, life happens, right? And so this chicken was going to spoil in my refrigerator. Now, some of you might say, well, just put it in your freezer and freeze it, and then you can use it at another time. Yeah, I had done that. So this was the thawing. I had put it in my refrigerator to be used in a recipe and then still didn't use it. And that, my friends, cannot be refrozen, or should not be refrozen, for food safety reasons. And so I decided I needed a couple more days, so I cooked it up. Did you know once you cook it, it kind of changes the state of it, and so it's not going to spoil as quickly. So I cooked it up, and I have about 6 cups is my estimate of cooked chicken now. I did this a day or so ago in my Instant Pot. That's my favorite way to cook chicken up. And then I went to the Once a Month Meals. Clearly, I went to the Once a Month Meals website and looked through recipes that used cooked chicken. All right, that is another way to use your Once a Month Meals membership, is looking up ingredients that you have on hand that are going to spoil and turning them into recipes that can be used at a later date. So that's what I'm doing on camera today. I have found 2 recipes to use up the 6 cups of cooked chicken. One is Creamy Chicken Taquitos, and the other one is Instant Pot Chicken Taco Soup from Mommy Hates Cooking. It's a blogger partner that we've had, and it's a dump and go dinner. Now here's the funny thing. I have not created or frozen dump and go dinners in a really long time because I eat a lot of single serving meals for myself. We don't eat a lot of big family meals. However, I wanted to test out these freezer bags for you from Fresh Menu Kitchen, and these reusable. So I'm like, what's the ultimate test for reusable freezer bags? Soup. So that's one of the reasons I went with soup and trying to find a soup recipe to showcase these and to cook some 4-serving meals to show you some family stuff, because we also have a need. Most of you, and maybe you want to comment, do you make single serving meals for your family? Do you freeze family style recipes? Do you do freezer cooking at all? Either one of those applies, but how many people are you cooking for? I would love to hear or see you in the comments. If you're on Instagram, can you heart on Instagram, or is that just TikTok? What can you do, you Instagram users? What can you do to show some love on the Instagram app and get it seen other places? Anything you do would be much appreciated. And same on TikTok. If you are joining us, I would love for you to just hit my face with some hearts, or punch me in the face, whatever you'd like to do with those hearts, or hit me in the heart with the hearts. I appreciate that too. All right, so in order to, I have all of my ingredients set out that I need for the creamy chicken taquitos. I am here to answer your questions as I prepare these. And I think it won't take us very long, but feel free to drop me your freezer food questions, your questions about, I mean, even feel free, I am sure Mindy from staff is watching at least on one of these channels. And so if you just went to your refrigerator, because I jogged your memory, and you realize you have some ingredients about to go to waste that you want to use, hit me with what they are, and we'll see if we can find you a recipe from Once a Month Meals where you can turn that into a freezer meal. So I have green onions that need to go into, so this is, I got my KitchenAid glass bowl out so you could see what I was mixing. The creamy chicken taquitos, so this is so easy. Last night I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. So I went and I picked the 2 recipes. I have to drop my kids off at school. There's a grocery store nearby that has my favorite. This calls for salsa verde, and they have the best fresh salsa verde. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to print out my grocery list real quick and take it with me. Moms, women, I had to put this grocery list in the actual car on my driver's seat last night so I wouldn't forget it. Anybody have to do that kind of thing? Yeah, that's basically. So I put it on my driver's seat so I wouldn't forget it. And then as soon as I dropped the kids off, I ran into the grocery store to buy the ingredients I didn't have on hand. Once a Month Meals gives me a full, and I don't know if you can see that from the invert, but it gives me a grocery checklist that I could actually use for my phone. I would not have had to print this out, but I'm a print it out kind of girl. And so I wanted it in hand. And so I got the ingredients that I didn't have on hand, actually after I went to the cupboard and figured out what ingredients I already had. So, and I tried to pick recipes in the Once a Month Meal system to go along with my chicken recipe that would go in my fresh menu kitchen bags, but also had ingredients that I mostly had on hand. So that's what we're doing. So let me read off to you what is involved with the creamy chicken taquitos, and you can watch me and make sure that I do not screw this up. Once a Month Meals also gives me each of my recipes in the quantities that are needed for the servings that I put into the system. So one of the awesome things about, so I'm gonna also use these fresh menu kitchen bags for my taquitos, but I have to flash freeze them first. So we're gonna talk about flash freezing things. I actually was going to potentially make, I forgot to move it over, but I was going to bake 1 or 2 of these taquitos in the air fryer because I'm gonna need lunch when I finish here. So I may just put them in for that and freeze the rest. But anyway, it gives me all of my recipes and how to cook these to freeze. So for these particular, this particular recipe, I'm going to line a baking sheet with parchment paper. I just lined it with wax paper because that was the most accessible thing that I had. I heated the cream cheese in the microwave for 20 to 30 seconds so it's easier to stir. I stirred in all the remaining, next I'm going to stir in all the remaining ingredients except the tortillas. And then I'm going to spoon the mixture into the tortillas, wrap them up tight, put them on the baking sheet seam side down so that they freeze solid and together. And put them in the freezer for at least 12 hours, maybe 24 hours to make sure they're nice and rock solid and not stuck together. So, and then I'm gonna put them in the fresh menu freezer bags. All right, this recipe called for 4 ounces of cream cheese. However, that's half a block of cream cheese. And I know when I have half a block of cream cheese in my refrigerator, it goes to waste. And I don't want it to go to waste. And I don't mind having more taquitos with a higher cream cheese to chicken ratio. not a problem for me. So I went ahead and put all 8 ounces of the cream cheese in. The next thing I need is 1/3 of a cup of salsa verde. Normally, I would do all of the prep beforehand and not while I was doing the recipe. However, I'm only doing 2 recipes and I only have 1 thing to prep, chopping green onions. I can handle that on camera. I did not, however, get my cups out. So, how's everybody doing today? Hello? Connie, same with, I think you said that to the grocery list, right? Or was this the same was either gotta make sure you remember the grocery list or you're a paper grocery list kind of girl. All right. I'm gonna be a little generous with my salsa verde since I have more cream cheese in there. These are so good. Has anybody ever made these? Creamy Chicken Taquitos. So good. They're also from a blog partner, Simple and Seasonal. I'm not gonna look at the camera while I'm cutting so I don't slice my finger off, okay? Okay. Mindy, are you dual phoning it? That would be awesome. Everybody give a shout out to Mindy. She's amazing. She and I are a 2-woman team now, so very much appreciate Mindy. If you ever write into customer service or chat, Mindy is going to be the one to help you. Mindy has also probably touched every recipe that is ever in our system and works with our test cooks. Did you know that each of these recipes is tested before it's published in the database to make sure that it's freezer friendly, that the instructions that we wrote are clear, that it's gonna taste good, and those are run by test cooks that are real cooks, just like you and me. They are volunteer. They were Once a Month Meals members, and we recruited them from the Once a Month members, to test out, not a real life test kitchen. All right, I added so now I need 1 1/8 tablespoons of lime juice. When I'm doing a cooking day, I just use this lime juice. Y'all may prefer, and I do prefer, but when I'm doing stuff on camera, tablespoon. Do I want tablespoons or teaspoons? I want tablespoons. This is a great time for me to talk about my favorite measuring spoons because there's a dry side and a liquid side. And so when you're doing, and for each one of them, and when you're doing cooking like this, and you're making multiple recipes or you're cooking, and you're going to use a tablespoon or teaspoon, it is amazing to not have put liquid ingredients. It also is more accurate, but on the dry side, keep the dry side dried and the liquid side liquefied. All right, and then, okay, 2 2/3 tablespoons of taco seasoning. How many people know what I'm about to say about taco seasoning and myself? If you know, you get a prize, and you're not Mindy. If you know the answer to what I'm gonna talk about when I talk about taco seasoning in my life, if you know what I'm gonna talk about, hit me with it. I make my own taco seasoning. Plus good for measuring into small bottles. Yep. Those measuring spoons. So I make my own taco seasoning. Does anybody know why I make my own taco seasoning? Who's not Mindy? Why do I make my own taco seasoning? Anybody know? I am making creamy chicken taquitos and taco soup because I have some chicken that's about to go to waste. All right, I'm gonna talk about the taco seasoning in just a minute. I'm gonna give you another chance or a few moments to respond. 2 2/3 tablespoons. I've already put the green onion in, and then 2 2/3 cup chicken. I know that this is about that it needs about half of the chicken. I just eyeball a lot of things. Melissa says because the taco seasoning has less ingredients and it's a lot healthier. That is true, but that is not why I made my own taco seasoning. It is also best made from scratch. I did find the taco seasoning recipe at Once a Month Meals. We do have staple things, and it's something that you can add to your list to make, but I did go Once a Month Meals to find the recipe that I needed for making my own taco seasoning. Somebody said, guest, are you avoiding chemicals or additives? Somebody said, I'm a first time watcher. I have no clue. Well, welcome. We're appreciative. You're about to learn why. The bowl, this is a KitchenAid bowl. So this is the KitchenAid stand mixer. This is the 6-quart, I believe, stand mixer glass bowl, but they have it for each of their different, it actually hooks into the KitchenAid mixer. But I wanted a bowl that you could see out of. So I'm not using the mixer, but I'm using the bowl. All right. I made my own taco seasoning because, drum roll, I have a red chili pepper allergy. Yeah, you heard that right. Cayenne, chipotle, if it's red and dried, it does not like me. Red bell peppers, totally fine. Anything else in the spicy red family? Green, totally don't have a problem with dried green chilies. Or like, you know, jalapenos, nothing. Red peppers, whole nother story. So, there's not a taco seasoning on the market that does not have red chili peppers. So I have to make my own, and I just sub in more cumin and some more of the other ingredients, more of the black pepper or white pepper in order to give it more spice, or even dried jalapeno pepper or chilies, because I have a red pepper chili allergy. So nobody got it, but next time you come to a live, you'll know, because almost all of the recipes that I love have red chili pepper in them. And that's one of the reasons I actually have to cook for myself a lot. A lot of the recipes I enjoy, a lot of the foods I enjoy, I can't get out at a restaurant because, I mean, I did it this weekend. I'm always very impressed when I go into a taco or Mexican style restaurant and I'm like, so I have a red chili pepper allergy. They're like, but I was in one this weekend and they were uber accommodating, which is so nice, but it is an interesting one to navigate. So I have to make a lot of my recipes and obviously my seasoning. So, but yes, it tastes better too. So 2 tablespoons, 2 2/3 tablespoons. So there's the taco seasoning. And then it also gets Colby Jack cheese. It's supposed to be 1 1/3 cup, but those of you who have been around here since the beginning know that I have been adding more ingredients than I added extra cream cheese, which means I needed to add extra. I can add extra other ingredients. That's what I love about this. Is New Mexico food red pepper free-ish? What's funny is when you're in Mexico itself, they don't tend to marinate their meats and all of the red pepper that we marinate our meats in. It's very, I actually can eat Mexican in Mexico easier than I can eat Mexican in America. Go figure. All right, keeping this out because one of the reasons I had this out, this is also cutting mat from Fresh Menu Kitchen. We're going to talk about the freezer bags. The mat isn't on the site yet, but there is a link to the freezer bags in our profile. So if you go to our profile, you will find a link to a free membership, because you can get a free membership. We encourage you to get a free membership with once a month meals so that you can explore the recipes that we have. Are there recipes that will fit your lifestyle? Are there recipes that you and your family would enjoy eating? You can't add your own to the system. You have to find similar ones because all of the micro data in the recipes that is there to tell you how to freeze it and what order to freeze it in and all that good stuff. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna break up this cream cheese. Should I just go for it like with my hands? I mean, these are for me. They're not for anybody else. I'm just gonna go for it. So I gotta break up the cream cheese a little bit and stir it up. Mindy will probably want me to talk about this other product that I love. These spoons are from Dream Farm. Not sponsored. But they have a little crook for when you're cooking. And they have measurements on the inside that you now can't see because they're covered in cream cheese. But also a favorite tool. So I am mixing up this chicken taquito chicken taquito mixture. This is the insides of the chicken taquitos. I also am gluten-free. And so this isn't listed as a gluten-free recipe, but I know how easy it is to get gluten-free tortillas. And so I got gluten-free tortillas for myself. I think this could be a keto recipe if you used keto or high protein wraps or a cheese wrap. I wouldn't do them. If you did a cheese wrap, you could not do these. They would melt. Yeah, don't do that. There's high protein keto wraps though these days, aren't there? Pretty sure there are. Oh yeah, so good. So I'll try to put it up. I actually feel like it could have more salsa verde. That is my taquito mixture. All right. So, going to get this stuff out of the way so that this is the pan that I'm going to roll the taquitos onto. I'm gonna check the comments too before I start rolling to see if you have questions or anything, throw them up right now, so that I can take a look at them, put them in my brain, and answer them while I'm rolling taquitos. These are my favorite, again, not sponsored. These are my favorite tortillas, gluten-free tortillas. They are amazing. Mission gluten-free tortillas. The bee's knees. All right, I gotta come up here to take a look. Use your hands. I love it, you guys. Get dirty. Okay, I have a funny... Lots of votes for stick your hands in. Here's a funny thing. I'm not a messy play kind of, like, I was never a messy play mom. I don't like getting messy. My oldest, had sensory issues and occupational therapy. We like start occupational therapy when he's like 3, and she's like, all right, so the assignment this week is messy play. And I was like, gonna have to do that with Dad because Mom doesn't do messy play. I just don't like, I don't like my hands dirty. I don't like all of that. It's the sensory issue for me. So anyway, I'm trying to set this up so that you can see. I am making creamy taquitos. I am going to roll these taquitos until this is gone on this tray. And then I'm making a taco soup that I am going to put in these bags. And one of the things I'm doing is putting these these are reusable kitchen bags that I purchased from Fresh Menu Kitchen to give them a test whirl. I don't use reusable, and I really, if you've ever used reusable freezer bags before, you'll know that like one of the major qualities that you're looking for is not leaking and keeping things fresh or whatever. So I'm going to try them out with dry ingredients, and I'm going to try them out with wet a soup. So I feel like soup is the ultimate test for a freezer bag. So anyway, you can find more information out about those in our links, as well as an OHM membership. How many of you, do any of you have a free or paid membership to Once a Month Meals? Have you ever tried us out? Have you ever looked? Have you ever played around in the system? Would love to know that. Did you know that we had a free meal plan or free membership? All right, I am going to, so basically kind of get a feel. It's about 1/3 of a cup. And if you're a measurement kind of person, you can totally measure these. I am just an eyeball it. So I usually do the first one. And then we're basically putting this seam side down on the tray, and we're gonna freeze these. But how many of you would like to see these cooked? Like, I could put them in the air fryer. I could put a couple in the air fryer so that you could see the finished results, and it would probably be done by the time I'm even done rolling these, which is really cool. The instructions on the website have you baking them, but I always I love having these on hand, because what I do is just when I'm hungry for lunch or I'm ready for lunch, I throw them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes. I spray them with cooking spray, and I throw them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes and heat up a side, make myself a salad, heat up some dipping queso and dip them in queso. And then what I love about the taquitos is you can decide how many you want, just like you would if you were going to the freezer. You know, you had bought taquitos from the freezer aisle, but these are fresh and made. For me, I can't get taquitos in the freezer section. I can't get taquitos in the freezer section because you will not find a taquito in the freezer section that does not have red chili pepper. Just doesn't exist. So I gotta make my own. No problem. I got Once a Month Meals to help me with that. What are you making? Chicken taquitos? And I'm about to make a soup after this. Have you tried the almond flour tortillas? I have not. The bags are awesome. And the stands, yes, the stands are from Jacari, and they are also linked at our Amazon store. The mixture is Creamy Chicken Taquitos. Okay. All right, I'm going to do, how many of you own an air fryer? Raise your hand, give us some hearts, put a little hand up icon if you have an air fryer. Or a picture of your favorite fried food. So the one downside of running the air fryer while this is running is you'll have to tell me if the sound is too overpowering, because Can I explain the business I'm talking about? Yes, in just one moment. You do, but you don't know how to use it? Oh my goodness. If the sound is too overpowering when it starts to run, you just let me know and I'm gonna stop it. But Mindy, actually on our staff, put me onto these. If you have an air fryer and you have never purchased these parchment paper air fryer papers for your air fryer, run, do not walk to our Amazon link and click on these, because you want these in your life. They just go in the bottom. And make it so much easier to clean. So I'm gonna put that in there. I am going to put in one of my taquitos. I'm gonna put it seam side down because it's not frozen, so I want it to stay together. I am going to spray this with a little cooking spray. So that it kind of goldens up. So, like I said, I just put them in. So, if I was baking these in the oven, it says preheat oven to 425. So I'm just going to put this on 400 in the air fryer for about 8 minutes and then check on them. They need longer... They need longer when they're frozen. So if they had been frozen, I would probably put them on for 10 or 12 minutes, but since they're not, I'm just doing 1 minute. It looked like I went out on screen for Instagram for a moment, so sorry if that happened. I'm not sure what's going on there, but So somebody asked on TikTok, can you talk about the business you're talking about? Yes, I'm talking about OM, or Once a Month Meals. It's onceamonthmeals.com. Either of our profiles has a link to get you there very quickly and easily. And we are I'm using a new analogy these days. Has anybody ever worked in a restaurant? You ever worked in a restaurant or a restaurant's kitchen? We basically help you to, so while I'm waiting on you to answer that, we help you to meal prep ahead so that you don't have to meal prep every day, so that you don't have to make meals every day. Make meals when you have time for the moments you don't, okay? And so we have a proprietary system that I built and software that I built that has an algorithm that helps you to make easy, freezable recipes, multiple recipes in one day for, so like 5 to 15 recipes that are doubled that you put in your freezer to eat on other days when you don't have time to cook. So it is the reason I ask, have you worked in a restaurant? Do you know about working in a restaurant? Have you ever worked in a restaurant's kitchen? When you work in a restaurant's kitchen, you come in and you have a prep sheet for the day. You have these are all the things you need to prep for the day and in the quantities you need to prep them for the amount of customers that we are predicting in the restaurant that day. And this is the order you should do it for maximum efficiency. That's what Once a Month Meals is for the home cook. The home cook doesn't have that prep sheet in that list, in that order of operations. But many of us would prefer not to spend our time in the kitchen. And that's what Once a Month Meals helps you to do. Not spend your meal time in the kitchen. We want you to, so it is an efficiency system. The recipes are built and put in the system based on the recipes you choose to cook in one day. So if you're meal prepping like myself, I'm just doing 2 today. It shows you the order of operations that you should do that to spend the least amount of time and put the least effort into cooking. And then you have those recipes in your freezer for using on another day when you're busy. And it saves you so much time because you're not prepping ingredients, doing dishes, everything every day of the week. And whether you are an experienced cook or you don't really cook at all, and you're new, like you're just learning to cook, the system works for you. And we have a free membership right now where you can go in and explore the recipes. You can see, we have over 13,500 recipes in the database. And they are all categorized by allergies and meal type. So if you're keto or you're celiac or you're in AIP, autoimmune protocol, all of those can be found in the once a month meal system, and they're tagged. But we want you to be able to see, are there recipes that I would use? Is the system seem like something that would work for me? And then if all of that is a yes, then in order to access these fun documents, restaurant style documents for the quantities in order for preparing things, then you would have to purchase a membership. But there are ways that you can create meal plans in the once a month meal system with the free account. You can even, so you can customize, you can either use one of our predetermined meal plans, and it's really easy that way if you use one of those. But if you want to create your own custom meal plan, you can even do that with a free membership. You'll just, and if you build one that you love and you want the documents to because you're ready to cook it, then all you got to do is pay for a membership and you'll still have access to that. You won't lose any of the time that you utilized to create that meal plan, and you'll be ready to go with a full grocery list to take to the grocery store, prep list for how to prep the ingredients when you get home, and a step-by-step instructions for what order to prepare those ingredients in, as well as the recipe cards for how to prepare those ingredients or how to prepare those recipes, and the labels to go on the bags. So I will tape the labels to these bags so that when I pull the recipe, when I pull the meal out of the freezer, whether it's me or somebody else in my household, they know how to prepare it. It's all right there on the label for them, including any serving day ingredients that they might need. And there's an inventory sheet for putting on your freezer so you don't forget what you froze, what you have. Does that answer the question? All right. TikTok says y'all need to hit my face with some love. So why don't you go ahead and do that? Just punch me in the face or hit me in the heart. Other questions? I'm about finished up. I won't be long here, honestly. The soup will not take me long at all. Has anybody ever done freezer meal prep? Is it something you've tried? Or is it a whole new concept to you? I don't know what I did without freezer meals. We actually had a customer recently sign up for a free membership and, or no, not sign up for a free membership. They signed up for a monthly, so you can do monthly, quarterly, or yearly. There is a refund policy for at least yearly, so that only charges you for a month if in the first 30 days you don't like it, you pay for a year, and you decide it's not really for you, which you should be able to figure that out with a free membership, to be honest with you. But if for some reason you sign up for yearly and it's just not working for you the way you thought it would, if you let us know in the first 30 days via email, we will refund you the difference of a year minus that first month. So there is monthly, quarterly, so even if you're free and you're like, hey, I think I want to try this, you can sign up for a monthly recurring membership, and as long as you cancel within the first 30 days, obviously, then it won't charge you again. But we had a customer recently who bought a monthly membership, and by the end of their first month, they're like, all right, I've done this, and we can't live without this, so can I please move to yearly? Those are the kind of emails we love to receive. Like, now that I've done this, I can't live without it, so let's go ahead and move to yearly. That's how we feel about it. Well, that's how we feel about it. That's fun. I don't think I've ever done a live where I'm like showcasing the product before I'm finished. That's kind of fun. I mean, I have, but I haven't. It's been a long time. Let's see. I also have oh man. So good. Give me just a moment, ask some questions. I will be right back. I'm gonna cut through, well, let's see. This is what I'm making, let's see. Here's that. You can tell somebody who worked in a restaurant when they can pull something out. Can you pull something out of the air fryer? Straight away. So let's cut through this taquito. Oh my gosh, this is so good. There it is. There's my fresh taquito. That's what I'm making. Sorry, the camera angle. There you go. Taquitos. Ushy gushy. Can you smell them? This is what I was making, chicken taquitos. And I love these. Like if you have teenage boys, which I do, it's like, it's one of those things where you can make them and it's like, okay, I need 4 more, you know, and they can just go right into, and I love that you can make as many, yeah. You can heat up as few or as many as you want to serve the people in your life. So yeah, yum, yes, delicious. You're gonna see me eat it. I'm needing to buy a new air fryer. What brand do you have and recommend? So we have the ones we recommend. I have an Elite Platinum, but if you go to our profile and you click on the link, it will take you to our Amazon storefront where yes, we do get affiliate dollars if you purchase from there, but all of the recommended products that we have, from Instant Pot to knives to all the things, are there. So anybody else, what air fryers do you all use? You customers are, well, those who use air fryers are welcome to also comment and answer Melissa's questions. I freeze our meals for breakfast, burritos, and pancakes too. Perfect for my big family. Yes. Hey, Madison. I used to do it with a group of friends. We'd exchange with each other our favorite meals. Oh, I love that. I love that. Like, I've done a few meal exchanges in has anybody ever done this meal exchange, freezer meal exchange? Freezer meal exchange are the best. Like, get your friends to get a once a month meals membership, right? And then one of you, like, get 4 friends. And if each of your 4 friends, each of your 3 friends, so there's 4 of you, right? Cook 2 recipes, like just like I'm doing, taquitos and taco soup, right? Like I would bring taquitos and taco soup to the swap, and they bring each, we all leave with 8, actually times 2, 16, because each of these, we all leave with at least 8 meals, if not 16 meals that are all different and varied. And we only had to spend an hour or 2 doing 1 or 2 recipes, right? So like you could pick the recipes that work best for you. We have a lot of resources actually on our blog as well on how to do a freezer cook swap and even out the money, or even out how to organize a freezer cooking swap. Thank you, Melissa, for reminding me of that. We should focus on that again. Mindy, I know you're taking notes, but that might be a great thing to focus on for the month of May. You know, I know us moms, like we always talk about Mother's Day. I'm like, Mother's Day, you don't want to. Like, I don't, you know, like how can we support moms? How can we showcase that? And I think friends coming together, not that if you're not a mom, like if you're a dad or dude or guy watching this, welcome. You are plentiful in our system as well. But those freezer swaps are amazing. And so it's so much fun to do with friends. Madison, have you had a chance to explore? It's okay if you haven't. I know you had a busy weekend. If you're on Instagram and you see Madison Kayla Hartson, Madison Kayla Hartson, go over and give her a follow because I'm about to share some of the stuff that she's doing this month to focus on Freezer Food Month. And she also has the funnest, like what food day it is each day or the days that they come up, and they're super fun. Like, I'm very much enjoying them. Very much enjoying your food days, Madison. But March is Freezer Food Month, and a lot of the freezer food industry is highlighted, but freezer home cooks, this is our month. Like, this is a time for us to shine and really focus and tell people about the wonderful benefits of freezer cooking. And your freezer is your greatest appliance and your greatest partner in the kitchen. You know, everybody gives so much credit to the slow cooker and our Instant Pots or whatever, but your freezer is your best friend. Like, it is a storage space for meals for when you don't have time. I'm gonna pick one of these earlier ones to put more. I just have a little bit of chicken left and no more tortillas. All right. All right, I'm moving to the soup next, and that's gonna be super easy to do. Oh, this is gonna be a big boy. All right, this is going into the freezer. I don't know if it'll fit in the freezer. Not without me doing some finagling, so I'll do that off camera. This is going straight into the freezer for them to freeze solidly on this tray. Once they're hard, I made sure they're not touching so they don't stick together. And then once they're frozen solid, probably a good 24 hours, just to make sure, I will be putting them in freezer bags and storing them that way. So I'm gonna put these off to the side. Over here. Before I move on to soups, which I'm just going to bag, like, this is called a dump and go recipe, which means we're gonna dump, we're gonna go, and so it is half the ingredients in here. So of the ingredients that I have to do, half of the quantities will go in these bags so that I have 2 soups that will serve 4 people. All right. I'm sorry, but I gotta eat one of these. What we got going on here? You've been working on your next 2-week meal plan. Awesome. I hope you're finding recipes that work for you. Madison also has autoimmune protocols that she is following for herself, and Once a Month Meals also caters to that. We are all of our recipes, I don't think I mentioned this, have nutritional data, and that nutritional data comes from the USDA. So and the USDA is what dietitians use for their standard of what recipes, like getting the nutritional data. So every recipe in the database, all 13,500 of them, you will see have been given nutritional information and have been reviewed by a registered dietitian before they were put on the site. So. Anybody follow Keith Lee I feel like Keith Lee right now. These are so good. But I'm rating my own recipe. It's not actually my recipe. It's actually Simple and Seasonal's recipe that they partnered and allowed us to put on the site. And they are amazing. This is a creamy chicken taquito. And I'm eating it while it's hot. So good. So good. I rolled these up to freeze. I have a whole tray that are going in the freezer, and I cooked one in my air fryer so that you all can see me eat because I'm hungry. I am cooking for lunch, you know. Can I tell you about these reusable bags? What would you like to know about these reusable bags? Here's a good question for you. Do you look for reusable bags? Is that important to you? If you do, what are the qualities that you're looking for in a reusable bag? And I'm going to talk a little bit about them. So let me be very transparent here. That Matt from Fresh Menu Kitchen reached out to us about were we interested in using the recyclable bags? I had another staff member utilize them, and I was like, well, I purchased these though, because I didn't have any, and I wanted to try them out. So I purchased them and have talked about them, and this is me testing them out to see how well they work. Because I've used ones in the past and they've leaked, and there's been other issues, and these look pretty solid. In fact, the ones I've used in the past, I could not have put soup in. So I reached out, I purchased these. We do have an affiliate link. It is in our links page, so that you can go right to these if you're interested. And I did just pull up Matt's site, the Fresh Menu Kitchen site, so that I could answer your question. How easy are they to clean and open when closed? Think, could my mom with arthritis open it? But I'm referring to myself. Could somebody with arthritis open it? That's a very good question. Where are the other, oh, right here. I think I've opened all of these, but that's a very specific question, Madison. So there's closed. I think so. Yeah, I'd say yes. As far as cleaning, I clean these, and I didn't do the inside out trick that others have suggested, but I washed it out and kind of put it over a cup to dry. So I set it out to dry like this, and it dried very quickly. On the site, it says our reusable freezer bags come in a pack of 6 gallon size. It will replace up to 100 disposable Ziploc bags. That's 600 bags per order. It can be used for soup, frozen products, or freshly prepped items. They are made of food grade PVA, which is biodegradable. They are eco-friendly. They're nice and flexible and make it easy to stack them in the freezer or refrigerator. That's another thing I'll be looking for. They're easy to clean. All you need is hot soapy water, rinse them well, and let air dry. They're not meant to be put in the dishwasher or have hot liquids poured into them. So if I was cooking a hot soup, a ready to eat soup, I would need to cool these off. I would need to cool the soup off. free shipping in Canada and the US. And there is a promo code on there. Should there be a promo code on there, Matt? There's a promo code on there. I don't know if it's our promo code. Might have to message Matt about that one. All right, so I am on to making Instant Pot chicken taco soup. So if you were not here at the beginning, I explained that I had some raw chicken that was going to go to waste in my refrigerator. So I also encouraged everybody, go to your refrigerator right now. Like really, take a moment. Take me with you on your phone. Go to your refrigerator. Are there ingredients in there that are about to spoil if you do not use them? Once month meals can be used for that because once it's frozen, it's preserved and there's a lot more food safety in it. So if you have an ingredient that's about to spoil, but you turn it into a recipe or ingredient, or in this case, you cook it and add it to a recipe, you've increased the life of that. You put it in your freezer and you don't have to eat it now or today. So 2 days ago, a day ago, when I realized my chicken was about to spoil, I went ahead and cooked it up in my Instant Pot. So easy, didn't have to do it, and then shredded it up real quick. And I used half of the chicken ingredients, and then I went to Once Month Meals, and I looked for recipes using cooked chicken. And I found 2 recipes. One was the taquitos that I just did, and the other is this chicken taco soup. I also wanted to put these bags to the test as far as soup goes. And so So I printed off a grocery list this morning for the extra ingredients I needed for these 2. Got them. Oh, these are Creamy Chicken Taquitos. And this is the one I'm working on. Once Month Meals, the database for all the recipes you choose gives me the recipe cards for what I need to do. I'm going to read through it. This recipe is so easy. If you can't make this recipe, like anybody can make this recipe. You put your 10-year-old on making this recipe, I promise you they can make this recipe and do these instructions. Divide all the ingredients among indicated number of, this says round containers because it's meant for the Instant Pot. I'm doing it in the bags to test them out. Seal, label, and freeze. And then on the serving day, I am going to add the frozen contents in water to the Instant Pot. I'm going to lock the lid in place. I'm going to cook it on high pressure for 8 minutes and then let the pressure naturally release. And I'm going to serve it with shredded cheese and corn chips. Now, here's the thing. Instant Pot recipes. We tell you in the Once Month Meal system to freeze it in the round. When you freeze an Instant Pot recipe in the round, a round container just like this, this is normally what I would do an Instant Pot recipe in. When you do it like this, you can put it, when it freezes, it makes this block, right? I could put this block, frozen round, fits straight up in the Instant Pot, no problem. If it's not in the round and it's going in the Instant Pot, it needs to be thawed. So I will have to thaw these ingredients in the refrigerator or wherever before I put them in the Instant Pot to cook because I'm using the bags. Or I could do it in a slow cooker because either way. But so normally, a lot of times I freeze in this type of container. I want to test these out. So this is what we're gonna do. So, although maybe I should do, I'm actually gonna do one in a round container and one in one of the bags so that in the future, on Once Month Meals, I can have a post about freezing, going from frozen to the Instant Pot and how to thaw and do the slow cooker. All right, so what ingredients do I need? I'm gonna read through the ingredients so I don't forget them, all right? Cooked chicken, taco seasoning, black beans, diced tomatoes, chicken broth, whole kernel corn, cayenne pepper, which I'm not using. Anybody been around long enough in this live to know why I'm not using cayenne pepper? All right, so I'm just I'm just gonna eye this because this is the only 2 recipes I have left, or the only recipe I have left, so I know that this chicken gets divided amongst these bags. If you don't have stands for your freezer bags, it's a game changer. A game changer. It makes things quick and easy. It needs 4 tablespoons of taco seasoning, which means that this one needs 2 tablespoons and this one needs 2 tablespoons. Hopefully, you can do math enough to divide in 2. However, I could have just mixed this all in one more and divided it among the 2, but I'm just not doing that. So there's that. Once a month meals also, if you do not like math, you will love once a month meals because it does all of the calculating for you. You don't have to figure things out. You don't have to do the math to figure out how many cups of diced onions you need. How many onions do I buy? I need 10 cups of diced onions. How many onions do I buy? You don't have to figure that out. Once a month meals has figured that out for you. This uses black beans. I've gone ahead and already drained and rinsed my black beans prior to this. This could be a vegetarian soup too. I could have left out the chicken altogether, but I'm using chicken. 29 ounces of tomatoes. So I'm gonna use half in here. And then corn, you do not need to drain the corn. So it calls for 30 ounces, so 2 15-ounce cans. It's soup, so you don't need to drain the corn. You're gonna need that liquid for cooking it. All right. Chicken broth, I need 29 fluid ounces. Like, should I test this? Am I testing the stand? Sorry, TikTok got stuck. I know this is a 4 cup. I know that's half. I'm not adding cayenne pepper because where do you find this stand for the bags? You can go to our profile, go to our Amazon store. We linked them. They are Jacari. They're amazing. Don't know how I lived without those. Dream Farm spoons. I'm just gonna mix this one up so it's flat, and I'm done. And so I'm going to, when you are freezing in freezer bags, it's important to kind of get out all the air, as much air as possible. So get out a little bit more here. All right. Like I said, I've never had a reusable bag that allowed me to do soup. So far, so good. And then I have one for the Instant Pot. So this one will be a slow cooker chicken taco soup. And this one will be an Instant Pot slow cooker, or Instant Pot slow chicken taco soup. All right, I'm done, people. I have 16 taquitos, well, 15 taquitos because I ate one, ready for my freezer. I have 2 4-serving I have 2 portions of 4 servings of chicken taco soup ready for my freezer. I have tested out these freezer bags, all of the links, including the links to once a month meals and our recipe database and how to set up a free membership so you can explore to see if this type of cooking would be right for you, if we have enough recipes that would be to you and your family's liking. Put us to the test. One of the new things that I'm trying with my kids is having them have access to my once a month meals membership and having them pick and save recipes that they want to try. We have in the system of 13,578 recipes. There are breakfasts, there are lunches, there are dinners, there are snacks, there are appetizers, there are desserts, there are everything your wildest imagination could do. So I think that wraps everything up for us. Any last minute questions I can answer? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Give us a like and a follow, and we will see you next time. In fact, the night that I decide to make one of these soups, I will also be going live. So it is good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that we will see you over on the Once a Month Meals website, the OM website, so that you can put the OM back in your kitchen. Thank you, Melissa. It was good to have you.